Hi everyone, and welcome to the Giving Road podcast. I am Michelle Zombos and I am the host for this podcast, and today we are going to be listening to a very raw and real conversation with Josie Parata, founder of Lighthouse for the community on Sydney's northern beaches. There is viewer discretion advised in watching and listening to this podcast, as there are some sensitive issues such as domestic violence and suicide and homelessness discussed. So I just ask you to listen with caution if you have younger viewers, or if you have a past that is sensitive to hearing these stories. We welcome you to not listen, or to listen at your own discretion. So we are going to dive right into the conversation with Josie. She's an amazing leader in the community. She has been a pastor at C3 Church and recently left that church to start a Lighthouse gathering in the Northern Beaches in DY, where they have the Hour of Power on Sunday afternoons. She is also the founder of Lighthouse for the community and does amazing work with people coming out of homelessness, addiction and domestic violence. And she's a mother of four and hails from Wellington and Whakatane in New Zealand, and is a great role model to all those who are around her of how resilience and belief and faith can be played out. So I pray that you enjoy this episode and that you are encouraged by her story. If you are encouraged to give towards the organisation, we'll have a link in the show notes below. Please share, subscribe and follow, and we'll be able to keep you updated with any new interviews that we have coming up as I go around Australia. Also, if you have any organisations you would like to nominate for me to go out and visit, please comment with their names in the comments. So enjoy this podcast and thank you for listening. We're just going to get straight into our conversation, but we're going to start with 3 shotgun questions. Okay. Yeah. So where were you born?
I was born in Wellington, New Zealand in 1971, a long time ago.
Wow. I didn't know that you were born in Wellington.
Yes.
I just assumed that you were born in Whakatane.
No.
Awesome. Okay, what is your favourite thing to do to rest, or your self-care practice? What's your favourite?
I've not been good at rest, but learning how to rest is actually turning off your work phone, sitting in a space that I love water views. Yeah. I'm not great at jumping in the ocean and all that, but I love sitting by the ocean or by water and to turn off my phones and just spend some time, just resting, I suppose. I do love watching movies as well. Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Gotta
love a good movie.
Yes, yeah. Netflix, in bed under the covers.
Nice. Never popcorn.
No popcorn.
No more popcorn. Josie's on a health journey. We've been just chatting about that. So she'll get to share a little bit about that. But what's something not many people know about you?
Oh, not many know about me. I'm a bit of an open book. But what's something not many know about me? Okay, I'm going to say this, but it's quite raw because it's just come to my mind and I've got to do that. So went through my own crazy separation and divorce in 2006, and I have not been on one date.
Wow.
Nobody knows that, but that's something. Not even, not one date, not even anything like that.
So is that a plug? So if you're single out there. Wow.
Yeah.
That's not something that you're going to keep for the rest of your life, though, right? Is that something you're open to, just on the side?
I am open should the right someone come along.
Okay, beautiful. Awesome. So we're just going to ask a few questions about your journey and how we got here. We are in her, what would you call this? Your office, cafe?
It was an office. We do a lot of case management stuff here, but we've morphed for this moment in one of the projects, which is our amazing cafe, because Michelle assisted us with getting equipment. We got a grant for $40,000. Anyway, so we're sitting in sort of our cafe on the ground zone, but I have a cafe mobile trailer outside as well that was part of the grant that we got. So this is our space. This is sort of what we do. We move around and do what we do when we need to do what we do.
Yeah. And she has created a beautiful space here, redid the whole office, and I've had the privilege of being here because when I started B4A Collective, the first person I called was Josie. And I said, Josie, do you need help with your fundraising? She's like, oh my goodness, yes. And so we got into writing grants. So this has been my journey over the last 3 years of going, okay, grants are great when you can get them, but they're not always even given to you for what you actually need. They're kind of like you've got to almost sometimes create something to tap into what is on offer. So which is why we're now pivoting and creating an app. So the people that I'm working to support and B4A Collective and the app I'm working to support all have lived experience. So what is it, Josie, that is a part of your story that allowed you to create Lighthouse for the community?
Yeah, okay. So look, I grew up in New Zealand in a crazy domestic violent home. So unfortunately for me, you know, coming into my own marriage, all that, I actually thought domestic violence, verbal abuse, you know, control, financial control, all that, I thought it was normal because this is what I grew up in. And so it wasn't until I started to see, you know, my kids getting affected by what was going on in the home that, and actually the eldest son, who was only 8 at the time, unfortunately, him and his dad did not have a great relationship. And one day I walked in and found him hanging from his bunk bed at 8, trying to take his life. Wow. And I just knew that if I don't get out, and I was 6 months pregnant with my 4th. Wow. And I was like, wait, if I don't get out of this situation, which I thought was normal, then somebody's going to get hurt. Yeah. And so I ended up in a women's refuge, pregnant with my 4th, and it was out of that actually Lighthouse was formed.
So you were experiencing domestic violence. You're in the shelter, so obviously there's a service there for women that come in and out of domestic violence. Yes. But what were the gaps that you identified that you felt like you needed to fill?
Yeah, amazing shelters out there. There are a place to go, a roof over your head. But for me, as a new single mum with the new single mum title, I mean, look, I had what I now call like crisis mentality. And so what that was that there's a fogginess. You know, like you can be onto it and you can know all your technical stuff and do all that. But because of the crisis, my mind was foggy. Beautiful people at the refuge, but they came one day with a whole pile of documents and said, you know, like, oh, fill all these out and get them all sorted and we'll get them lodged and we'll do the XYZ. And I just remember going, how am I going to do this? But I would normally know how to do stuff like that, but I just could not work out how. And I remember thinking, I wish there was just somebody that would sit with me and write all these documents as I told them.
Wow.
And that's what we created. And so I came alongside, I met a lot of single mums at support groups and stuff. And I just asked, is anyone helping with documents? No, I don't know how to do it. I haven't done this yet because I can't get my head around it. I'm like, let's meet in the park with our kids. Wow. And I met in the playground and I'd write it. And they just tell me, and that's how literally back then though, in 2008 when it was actually supposed really founded, but it was then called SMS Lighthouse, which was single mum support. It was just for the women. Wow. But now we're Lighthouse for the community because we've expanded and we're helping males that are going through their own crazies as well. Amazing. So that's literally where it all came out of. Those were one of the biggest gaps, was just doing documentation. So even now today, a lot of our support services, amazing support services in our area, they know now that if anyone hooks up with Lighthouse, that my language to them is always, what are you doing? I'll do what you're not doing. And so whatever it is they're not doing, then that's what we'll do. Because look, I don't want a copycat. I don't want us to double up and do same. Even though I can do, if someone comes to us first before them, I'll do all the XYZs because we know how to do it. But that was a lot of the gaps was that. And handouts, like that mentality of, like even like I had mums, beautiful mums anyway, but they were saying to me, you're on a Centrelink, hold your Centrelink and go here and go there and go there. And they were teaching me how to service shop and how to get all my free XYZs. And I was like, wait, what? And when I'd go to even one, I was like, okay, sure, there's a handout of something.
Yeah.
But then wait, I'm not getting equipped to do this stuff myself. And I thought, wait, that's what we're not going to do at Lighthouse. We're not going to just give a hand out, but we're going to give a hand up. And so I say that all the time. We are hand ups, not handouts. Yeah. But we do have stuff to hand out, but it is a you do and I'll do. Not just I'll do it all for you, because I want to equip and I want to enable and help them to get up and on their feet and break poverty victim mentality, so that not only does the adult break that, but the children do too.
Yeah. And so you stepped out and you were already a single mum.
Yes.
How did you fund? To even in the early stage, how did you fund what you started?
Yeah. So initially, as I said, I had no money. I was a single mum on a single parent pension, but I knew that this was important. So I thought, well, wait, we'll use with what we can. I was like, well, I have my young one. So I was like, let's go to the playground. We go to the playground and we'll hang out and we'll sit at a table. And I started doing documents while our kids were playing. Yeah. And sort of that's how it started. But then I thought, wait, if I could just do like a coffee connect where I just gather the mums around and we have coffee and we hang out. And so I was able to then get a council small building, small zone. And so how did we do it is people started to see what I was doing even without the building. And I had some random friends / people that I was connected with that were like, oh, I'd like to put this towards something. So there was like separate just sponsors, I suppose. Yeah. And that would help us get a rental. Like a small rental with, tiny space. But then eventually, when I realized that actually I needed to do this and do this well, my first priority was getting qualified. So I did a advanced diploma, but it was, I thought I've got to do it fast because I hate this slow thing. So I did 2 years in one. And fully, because I wanted to be taken seriously by other support services, not just be known as, the single mum out there that, is a single mum. But I wanted them to know that actually I'm a qualified caseworker and I can work in this zone. And so I did that. And then I gathered a board of people that were of business peeps that sort of loved the vision. And then from there, we started doing annual fundraising dinners. Now, the annual fundraising dinner was in March every year. But starting out, because I was driving that thing, I'm not good at asking for money. No, I am not. Oh, I hate it. I hate the whole thing. But anyway, I had all my friends and family coming out to our fundraising dinner, and bless them, they'd give it what they could give, but it was still never enough for my income. But it would maybe cover the rent for the year. And I thought, okay, if I can at least do that. So for a few years there was nothing coming to me, right? I was just doing everything on, with whatever we had to help the mums, and donated, bread from Baker's Delight and pie shops and things like that. And, but just going out to, court and housing and Centrelink with clients, because then I was able to tap into, I suppose, a space where I was able to put my daughter into daycare, and that freed me up to work even more with these mums. So even though I wasn't getting paid. So anyway, so that's really where the funds came from, was these annual fundraisers. After 3 years, then we had someone come and say, look, because I was running around like crazy trying to set up this and do that. And they're like, you're meant to be not that person. Like, let us organise a fundraising team. And the next year, I think we were making every year about 20 grand, like 19,000, because I thought, well, that'll cover my rent and, anything the clients need. And then this guy, he's like, no, next year I'm going to bring people in to help. And that next year, and he said, but you've got to invite the right people to your dinner. You can't have your friends and family, right? And so the next year, I think we did about 90,000 in fundraising. And he's one of my board members and board member still. So, and then, Yeah.
And then
So it's
COVID
been
hit.
annual. Well, that was, yes, we got to a point. So then what we were raising, so I was able to take on some income finally, but still not, even to this day, still not a 5-day income, right? And so, but look, you know what? Yeah, anyway, I get provided for. So anyway, it's my language. Oh, yes, I'm not sure to go down that road. But anyway, but yeah, no, like it's just, people see the genuine support that we want to give our community. And the, you know, let's be real, you know, life is not easy. But I think over these years now, I've learned how do we tap into spaces to help these ones to move forward and up and out of their stuff on the smell of an oily rag. Ultimate ideal to get way more support workers, way more case managers, so we can work with way more clients. So anyway.
And so we had a panel speak at my event in February, and you shared something there that I'd like you to share again, because often you referred to how, you know, many people say, oh, you don't have funding, why don't you just go and maybe work for someone else that's doing the same thing, or go and partner with a bigger organization. Why don't you do that, Josie?
Okay. So yes, I did. I got that many times. Even I went to see a member of parliament, and he said, you know, you're a small fish in the sea. This was the language. You're a small fish in the sea. Go and hook up with a big fish. Like, I won't even name them maybe, but another organization, and come in under what they're doing, because they'll, you know, filter our government funding down into what you do. And so why don't I? Because I have seen, not our service, but I've seen other services who have done that here in the Northern Beaches, who were running the race according to what they felt was going to make an impact in clients' lives, which was amazing and working. But they ran out of funding, and they did hook up with a big fish. And all of a sudden, the whole process and strategy and how they did what they did had to change according to what the big fish wanted to be done. I believe Lighthouse, we have a unique service where it is about, like I'm saying, not handouts, but hand ups, breaking victim and poverty mentalities. It's not just ticking boxes. Okay, I've done X, Y, Z because now that covers the grant. But actually, you know, I suppose my biggest fear in hooking up with another someone is that it needs to stay who we are. It needs to be unique. We need to be real. We need to be able to do the hard yards and not just tick the boxes. That's probably my only reason why I don't want to hook up with an organisation that would literally change the whole flavour of our service.
Because how long have you lived in the Northern Beaches?
Okay. So I came out in 1990. I came over here about 1995. Yeah, about 95. So I've been here for 30 years on the Northern Beaches. This is home to me, even though, you know, still get, you know, that Kiwi accent. But, Northern Beach is about that long. So
you know the area, you know the people, you know the culture. Even like I've lived in Western Sydney for like 9 years. There's a different culture out here, right? And you're familiar with that culture, and you're able to deliver something that's, you know, and even direct people down the road to whoever, because you're totally familiar with the area. And that's the benefit of being like a grassroots led community organization. So moving forward, what are your biggest challenges you're facing with funding right now? And if you were to, we're at the end of the financial tax year at the moment, and maybe you're looking to donate, what's the best way that people can donate towards you to help you fulfill what you know is the best for your community?
Okay. So look, this is, I mean, I am focused on our community, but we do spread our wings right over interstate even, right? That's our service. But, and I know this is everywhere. The biggest pressure, even on those not even coming through domestic violence, but on families, is the rental market, is accommodation, right? That is a big pressure right now. And so what I find is I get calls all the time from these ones that are stuck in, horrible abusive relationships. How do I get out? How do I do this? What's the process? You know, because I can't afford this and I can't afford that and stuff. And so because people are recognizing rental prices right now, they're like, I'm just staying. So they stay in these abusive relationships because they just can't see a way out. So what Lighthouse has done, like housing is a real close heartbeat, because for me, I ended up in the refuge, ended up in a transitional accommodation and all that. And I was grateful for that. Those are still in place. They are still in place, but there is so many cases now that there's not enough room in the refuges. So people are on wait lists to get into the refuge, right? And they're up again. Anyway, we won't go there. So housing is a big thing. So last November, actually, we've got quite a, well-known caliber on the Northern Beaches that a local real estate agent called me and said, hey, we've got a property developer that's just bought a whole block of units, 20 units, right? But we're not putting it out there yet. We're asking you first, do you want them? I'm like, oh, of course I want them, but how are we going to do this? And so then we went individually through each unit, and he said, this is the price that he wants rent on them, blah, blah, blah. And gosh, I tell you what, if I had the funds, I would have taken that whole block, but I didn't have the funds. But I also did not want to miss out on an opportunity, because we were trusted to be tapped on the shoulder by a local top real estate agent. That they wanted us to be in there doing what we do. So I looked at what we had and went, right, and how much I could manage in that coming up to Christmas. And I thought, I'm going to at least take two of those units. So I took 2 units and we sublet them. So they're under the Lighthouse House to Move Forward program.
Wow.
Right? And we started a pilot program where we took on someone through another grant that I was able to get. And long story short, she focuses in on the tenancy of those 2 units. Yes. I don't even know. Did you not know that either? Because I'm looking at her face. So that was November. So, but because my ideal is to get a couple more of these sublets, and ideally, I mean, we haven't created this yet, but what I've done, because I wanted to just get the feel of the real estate zone first, right? And so these tenants that have been in there, we gave them a 12-month lease. But ideally, because it was Christmas, and I thought, let's deal with them in this year, 26. And so, but the ideal would be to get a fair few of those, and we have transitional, where they come in and they're paying the rent. They pay the rent as well. Now, I was able to get these ones that were low rent compared to what's out there, but I renovated them. I refurbed them in Christmas and everything. So I could put yes, I did. So anyway, so we could pay, whatever. So they have, right now, with no funding, they pay their rent and it covers it, right? But ideally, to be able to have some funds in the bank, even if it's one more property, that we've just got backup should a tenant, we're in between tenants or something. Because if it's a transitional property, I would assume then, let's say we do a 3-month transition with someone. We work with them to help them get on their feet, but into something more permanent. And then, or even to housing programs or whatever. And then we bring the next one in. But while they're there, it's not, again, a handout. It's not a free 3 months. It might be 25%, say, because that's sort of the bracket. 25% of their income is what they'd pay towards rent. And then we pay the remaining. But again, really big on not being stupid and, getting massive rental properties that are really expensive but I also get it too, that if it's a family of, say, 4 kids, they can't live in a studio, right? And our minimum studio right now prices, you'd be lucky if you get something under $500 a week for a studio. So look, so that would be a big thing, is like for me, housing, anything to go with a housing backup. It might not be that it is to help us with paying rent. It might be that it's actually to help someone get housed. Maybe you're a removalist, help pay a removalist, right? Cover those costs, because that's not an easy job. Go in and get the products. Maybe it is about getting funds in the bank to be able to give, pay the 2 weeks advance rent, 4 weeks bond. Maybe it's stuff like that, anything around housing, because I'm seeing that these opportunities are stopping these real victims that are stuck in their places to actually leave. They just can't see a way forward. But we can help them with you.
Amen. Beautiful. And I saw Josie's really good at sharing things on social media. So we saw the transformation of those apartments and love that you've gone to restore them so that people walk in there with dignity and they're not
Yes.
just like walking into some trash
No.
house. They feel
No.
like they're at home. You furnished it too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you would like to be a part of that amazing initiative, we'll put the link in the show notes and in the comments if you'd like to get direct access to be able to donate some of yours. You know, she said maybe one, let's go 5, and let's
Let's do a block.
I mean, amazing if we can collectively come together and help to support these women that are leaving domestic violence situations to be able to have some stability, even for a short time. It'll help their, get their wits about them and understand what they're doing so they can move forward. And that's your slogan, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your slogan?
Yes. Hand up, not hand out, but strategy to move forward.
Yeah.
Moving forward. We have our programs are called the Moving Forward program. So I have strategies. I have crisis clients, so the ones coming out of it, but then I have the moving forward clients, which are those that are still moving forward, but they're not in their cars or they're not trying to escape. But we still need to help them move forward. So moving forward's definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing. Well, thank you, Josie, for your time, and we really appreciate you sharing with our community. And we look forward to seeing what comes out of this and what your next year is gonna look like.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me is, because I see gaps. I see gaps in the community. I see clients that need support, and we create, hair salons, we create cafes, we create the kayaks. I'd love to see the kayaks go out, and that's a bit of a, help them emotionally get out on the lake. So again, it's like maybe slow down on the projects, Josie, because, I've got the ideas, we don't have the money, and sometimes we don't have the people. So, to run the things, but
yeah. So if you're looking to volunteer or if you want to even fund a staff salary, this is an amazing organization you can do that with. So yeah, thank you, Josie. Thank you for your time. Bless you. And we'll catch up with you guys again in our next episode.